Willow Creek, Season 2, Episode 5, The Vision. The freight train rattled through the night, its wheels screaming against the tracks like the ghosts of Blackwater Asylum still chasing them. Rachel pressed a damp cloth to Nick's forehead in the boxcar's dim light. His skin burned beneath her fingers, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Every few minutes, his body would seize like he was fighting invisible demons. "Nick," she whispered, shaking him gently, "you need to tell me what you saw." His eyelids fluttered, open, revealing bloodshot whites. When he spoke, his voice wasn't his own. It was hollow, echoing, as if something else spoke through him. "They're building an army, in the place where the rivers cross." Then his back arched violently, his teeth clamping down on a scream. Rachel barely caught him before his skull cracked against the floor. She'd seen withdrawal before, but this was different. This was like watching a man haunted by the future itself. The train whistle shrieked. Outside, lightning split the sky, and in that brief, blinding flash, Rachel saw them, figures running alongside the train, the river crossing. 3 days later, they stumbled into the town of Twin Forks, a miserable cluster of buildings where the Blackwater and Red Pine rivers twisted together like snakes. Nick had stopped screaming, but the visions hadn't left him. He'd whisper coordinates in his sleep, sketch maps of places he'd never been. Once he woke Rachel by pressing a knife to her throat before recognizing her, sobbing about faces that weren't faces. Now he stood at the motel window, staring at the downpour through the cracked blinds. "They're here," he said quietly. Rachel didn't ask who. She could feel it too, the unnatural stillness of the town, the way the diner's neon sign buzzed like a dying insect, the complete absence of children playing in the streets. She checked the revolver Emma had given her. 3 bullets left. "What are we looking for?" Nick's finger traced the condensation on the glass. "The old textile mill, where the rivers meet underground." A knock at the door. Both froze. 3 precise raps. Pause. 2 more. Emma's signal. Rachel flung the door open and nearly collapsed at the sight of her best friend, face bruised but alive, leaning on Mia Rodriguez for support. Emma's smile was grim. "Miss me?" The abandoned mill loomed over the riverbank, its broken windows glowing with faint blue light. Not reflections, not fire, something else. Mia crouched in the reeds beside Rachel, her hospital gown replaced by stolen fatigues. "There are 12 guards, 4 on the perimeter, 8 inside." Emma checked her stolen rifle. "How do you—" "I remember," Mia said, tapping her temple. Her pupils were still dilated from the serum, black swallowing nearly all the brown. "They brought me here first." Nick's breath fogged in the cold air. "What's inside?" Mia's answer sent ice through Rachel's veins. "The first completed prototypes. The infiltration was too easy. That should have been their first warning." They slipped through the mill's rusted delivery entrance, past empty guard posts and silent machinery. The deeper they went, the colder it became, until their breath hung visible in the air. Then they found the chamber. Rachel's stomach lurched at the sight. 20 glass pods arranged in a perfect circle, each filled with glowing blue liquid, and, floating inside, teenagers. No, not just teenagers. Rachel recognized the face in the nearest pod. Jamie Collins, a Willow Creek High sophomore who'd transferred 6 months ago. His skin was corpse pale, his veins pulsing with the same eerie blue as the fluid. Most horrifying of all, his eyes were open, watching them, tracking them. Emma's rifle trembled. "They're awake in there." Mia moved to the control panel. Not awake, dreaming. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. "The serum keeps them in a shared consciousness." Nick grabbed her wrist. "Don't." Too late. The pods hissed open simultaneously. 20 pairs of blue-veined eyes snapped toward them, and in perfect unison, 20 voices whispered, "You shouldn't have come." Naman the trap. The first prototype moved faster than anything human should. 1 second it was in the pod. The next, its fingers were around Mia's throat. Emma fired. The bullet tore through the prototype's shoulder. It didn't flinch. Nick tackled, it screaming as blue liquid sprayed from the wound and burned his skin like acid. Rachel backed toward the door, revolver raised, only to feel cold hands close around her wrists from behind. Jamie Collins pressed his lips to her ear, his breathy, smelling of chemicals and copper. "He wants to see you." Then the world dissolved into blue fire. The vision. Rachel's consciousness tore free of her body. She saw a black-suited man standing before rows of pods stretching into infinity. Emma screaming soundlessly as prototypes dragged her into the dark. Nick convulsing on the floor, his veins glowing blue. Mia's eyes turning fully black as she whispered, "Phase 3 begins now." Worst of all, she saw herself, standing calmly beside the black-suited man, handing him a list of names, her students' names. The vision shattered as a gunshot rang out. Rachel gasped back into her body to find Mia holding a smoking pistol, Jamie's corpse at her feet. The remaining prototypes froze mid-attack. Then, as one, they tilted their heads, listening, before sprinting into the darkness. Emma dragged Nick upright. "What the hell was—" Mia's voice was hollow. "Recall signal. They're being summoned." Rachel's hands wouldn't stop shaking. Summoned where? The answer came from the mill's rusted PA system, crackling to life with a familiar voice. The black-suited man, calm as ever. "To war, Miss Turner, and you've just handed me my first battalion." They regrouped in the storm drains beneath the town, the prototypes in human shrieks shrieks echoing above. Nick convulsed under another vision, whispering, "Not soldiers, not weapons, bridges." Mia bandaged a gash on Emma's arm with torn fabric. "The serum doesn't just show the future," she murmured. "It changes it, makes the brain suggestible to certain timelines." Rachel's blood ran cold. "You mean they're not just creating super soldiers?" Emma met her gaze. "They're programming assassins who'll want to pull the trigger." Above them, the town's church bell began to toll, not the steady rhythm of Sunday service, but a frantic, uneven clanging. Mia's head snapped up. "They're hurting the townspeople." Nick gasped back to awareness, his pupils blown wide. "The river. They're going to drown them all." Test. The prototypes. Rachel stood, wiping Jamie's blue blood from her revolver. There were only 2 bullets left, one for the black-suited man, one for herself if she failed. Emma racked her rifle's slide. "Plan?" Rachel stepped into the storm. "Save who we can. Burn the rest."